Speaking out 25 years after Fairytale of New York singer's passing, Kirsty MacColl's ex-husband claims that the singer was killed by a speedboat driven by the richest man in Mexico. A week before Christmas Day, Kirsty MacColl and her two sons were swimming in the balmy waters of the Caribbean Sea when she was mowed down by a speedboat 25 years ago today. On December 18, 2000, the boys of the Fairytale of New York singer, Jamie and Louis, who were then 15 and 14 years old, watched in horror as their loving mother was murdered just off the idyllic island of Cozumel in Mexico. She courageously dove to push her kids out of the way as the boat sped toward her, but its propellers quickly murdered her. Today, her son's father, her ex-husband Steve Lillywhite, asserted that the 31-foot speedboat's owner, billionaire Guillermo Gonzalez Nova, who was previously among Mexico's wealthiest men, was personally responsible for the catastrophe. Crucially, the only individual on board with a driver's license was Rene Nova. The billionaire Mexican grocery magnate, who passed away in 2009, was charged of bribing 26-year-old deckhand Jose Tsinyam to serve as the crash's fall guy. The offer of money and a house in Cozumel, where his boss had a vacation home, was allegedly the reason Tsinyam subsequently drunkenly told pals he took the responsibility. Despite being convicted accountable for Kirsty's murder, Tsinyam miraculously escaped jail for a culpable homicide by paying a $90, 61 pounds, fine. Today, Mr. Lillywhite stated that no one believes that he was operating the boat and that Guillermo Gonzalez Nova staged a cover-up to avoid being sued by Kirsty's grieving family. Comercial Mexicana, Mexico's third-largest grocery business, with Gonzalez Nova as its president. Jose Tsinyam, his daughter-in-law, two of his sons, and his 11-month-old granddaughter were on the boat with him at the time, as he publishes a new version of Kirsty's popular Christmas classic with Pogues vocalist Shane MacGowan, who passed around this time 2 years ago. Steve Lillywhite has spoken out about the purported conspiracy. The new song has been mixed by him. They said there was a young kid driving, but no one believes that he added the son. I believe that because he was one of the richest men in Mexico, they simply didn't want to have a huge lawsuit. Jose Tsinyam, a 26-year-old employee of Nova, claimed to be operating the powerful car despite not having a license. He testified in court that he was only traveling at 1 knot, or around 1 mile per hour, which is barely a quarter of the speed limit on those waters. Yam also stated that Kirsty and her son Jamie, who was coming up after scuba dive, were hit by the boat while swimming outside the protected area. After being found guilty of culpable homicide in 2003, the accused offender was sentenced to 2 years and 10 months in prison, although he only received a fine of 61 pounds. With the help of friends like U2 legend Bono, the singer's aging mother Jean Newlove launched a Justice for Kirsty campaign. She made it plain before her death in 2017 that she also thought Gonzalez Nova was to blame. He thinks I'm simply want his money. But the truth and an apology were all I ever wanted. The truth was never revealed to me. I've never received an apology. She added, and it's too late for that now. The group hired private investigators to look into the matter in an attempt to organize judicial appeals. They found that divers could have pushed the boat out of the way if the driver had been moving at 1 knot. Jean abandoned the formal investigation into her daughter's death when billionaire Nova passed away in 2009 at the age of 92. When Steve learned about his ex-girlfriend Kirsty, with whom he had split up in 1997, he hurried from the United States to Mexico. He discussed a time of year that is still difficult for him and the kids when promoting the new version of Fairytale of New York, which surged to number 2 in the charts in 1987. The 6-time Grammy winner acknowledged that his ex-partner, who passed away around this time of year, is continually brought to mind by Kirsty's joyous tune. Hearing Fairytale makes you feel good. So it's a bittersweet feeling, he remarked. It reminds you of everything, including Christmas. 3 years after Kirsty's breakthrough song, there's a guy who works down the chip shop swears he's Elvis. The couple was married in 1984. Kirsty had presented a BBC radio broadcast in Cuba before taking a vacation to Cozumel. Given that speedboats were prohibited in the scuba diving region, she would have anticipated to be safe there. Louis was unharmed, while Jamie sustained minor injuries, with his oxygen tank bearing the brunt of collision. Additionally, Kirsty's then boyfriend James Knight who was 26 years younger than her, was present. Steve thought about how difficult this must have been for the young musician, especially in light of the public spotlight. Despite abandoning the campaign in 2009, Mother Jean promised to take advantage of any new breakthroughs that could occur. People have long questioned whether corporate behemoth Nova had been steering the boat. In 2017, she passed away at the age of 94. Steve acknowledged that the family had to come to terms with the disappointing decision and said he hoped it was worthwhile if the campaign's awareness raised any lives.